just talk about what you've seen from the defense, even just in that last game when, with so many weapons coming at them, how they were able to kind of take care of everything?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, I think we do a pretty good job of, we keep fighting. I think that, we played hard. We didn't play precise. But the biggest thing is they're trying to get the most out of each drive. And so then as a result, we slow teams down or stop teams at key times or enough times that everybody together, we have a chance to win it. And the biggest thing is you see them with, developing kind of an identity and playing hard and playing together.
What do you think about Zach Sharman's performance?
He's okay. I think going to get better. Both our kickers are young guys, and I think just have to develop and learn from experience.
Do you see this Colorado team as being in sort of the same spot you guys were a year or so ago?
Well, they're kind of in the same spot we are now. From the standpoint they've played everybody. These a lot of these games have been kind of by an eyelash on both sides. We've come out on top on some of them, but they've been close on all the same people we were close on. So,
a team like that that's still learning how to finish, but is kind of coming into a point of the season where it's only got a few chances left to do that, be more dangerous than they otherwise would be?
No, I think they're dangerous anyway. I think they play real hard, and I think they do some good stuff, and I think explosive on both sides of the ball. They blitz more than most teams in our conference, and then they, offensively they move the ball all over the place. Got a little razzle-dazzle to them, and they keep you guessing on offense.
What does it mean to be ranked? I know you probably don't worry so much about the rankings per se, but just from a program standpoint, it's been so long since Washington State has been in these talks.
It's just as on a daily. It's just something that we have to avoid the noise on. Just focus on the next practice, the next play. I mean, all that'll take care of itself. That's just a byproduct of focusing on individual plays and making the most out of that. And we've got to understand that and understand that what we've been doing up to this point's all that's important now. So,
what does that mean for the program, though, and maybe the community, the students? Does it notice for you when you had your days at Texas Tech? Does it rev up everybody around campus?
I think it's good. I think it gets everybody excited, and of course our students and fans have been great. Our students and fans. This is a big game, and we've had tremendous crowds at Martin Stadium, and they need to remember that Thanksgiving break starts on Sunday, so they need to be here, have a big night of it Friday, and then all day Saturday. And of course, there'll be a great game, and then stick around on Sunday, and then go enjoy Thanksgiving in Seattle. So.
What is it about this team that you guys have had so many comeback wins, so many strong performances late? What is it about the personality of this team that allows for those types of wins?
Well, one is that we don't put people away earlier, so we need to develop a personality to get that taken care of. But the other thing is we don't quit playing. We've done a very good job of not quitting playing and trying to seize the opportunity each play, and and that's what's key is you got. However many minutes in the course of a game, and in this conference in particular, you have to get the most of all of those in order to beat somebody.
I think Luke has been stripped on sacks 8 times, but you guys have managed to recover all 8 of those fumbles. Do you think that's a byproduct of anything?
You mean you should keep 2 hands on the ball more often, and then we should protect better. That's what I think. But.
Coach, what went into the decision to change Seidel out and put Andre Dillard out at left tackle?
Dillard, they're quick on the edge. They had fast people on the edge, and then and Dillard's a quick guy. Dillard's a quick-footed guy. He's quicker than Gunner, and he's quicker than Gunner Eklund. Allows us to put Gunner inside, and put Dillard's quickness on a quick guy. And then I thought Cole Madison played better the second half. He needed to be resurrected a little bit, though.
Did you consider going the Dillard route initially when Dahl went out?
Thought about it, and then Arizona State was had a lot of nuance to their front, and then Sadell was more experienced, you know.
How did you think Dillard played?
I thought he played pretty good, you know, really, it's his first, I guess it's basically a start, you know. I mean, it's his first one in the middle of a heated contest. I thought he did good.
Do you feel like this team is getting the respect it deserves at this point, whether from outside forces, the conference in general?
Well, I don't pay any attention to that, you know, that, respect's pretty arbitrary anyway, unless you actually play somebody, you know. Yeah, I don't pay any attention to that. I mean, that's like caring what somebody thinks, and I don't really care what that many people think, you know. I mean, in our team, because you know, then there's just less to keep track of. So we just try to be the best we can be and focus on what we do and do it the best we can, and then hopefully a little clarity there will help us improve.
Did you hear about the situation with UCLA warming up on your side of the field and as a head coach? I mean, do you have time to care about that?
I didn't hear about it, but you know, really pleasant stadium, really pleasant colors. So I guess everybody's in a good mood and just running around excited for football. I thought they were very gracious hosts and didn't have any problems. So and heck, if we needed them to move, we would have asked them to move. So but I don't even think we needed to do that.
How important is senior night for you as a coach, and just giving your seniors the last hurrah as they run out to Martin Stadium?
It's okay, you know. I mean, I guess it's not that important. I mean, those seniors are a part of your program for decades to come. I mean, there's no closure to really senior night. It's unfortunate that they don't get to play again, but they'll be a part of the Cougar program forever. So I guess I don't really see it as an end. You know, I plan to see them for the next game, and then for several weeks leading up to a bowl. So, but we do want them to have a plaque or whatever to remember their experience here. So we're excited about that part, and you got to give it to them at some point. And so I guess I view it like that. I mean, I'm excited about their contributions. I think their contributions will resonate for decades to come, and they don't just deserve a plaque, they deserve more than a plaque, and that's as good a time to give it to them as any. But I plan to see them for, you know, another month and a half. So
When you recruit players, you have to recruit for personality and fit to some degree. But when you're taking these guys from American Samoa, who are going to be having to deal with a lot more cultural barriers than the average recruit, do you have to recruit to personality even more?
well, I think the biggest thing is when they get here, you just have to, you know, and of course, you want to have a support base, which that started a long time ago, and we're uniquely situated that way. I mean, you know, we got the ultimate godfather, you know, Jack Thompson, and you know, his spirit's still felt here in a pretty big way, you know, and you just, the biggest thing is you just got to understand there's going to be some adjustment, and it's going to be more different from their home than other players on your team, and just make sure that they have the level of support that they need. And now that we have several players at varying ages and some older ones, which I think that helps a lot. And then, occasionally on the outside, you know, it's somebody's got a tough time, just sort of try to educate them on what the guy's going through, but I think they've done a really good job. And I think, well, the other thing is, I think over time, you know, guys like Destiny Viao do a really good job working with those young guys, and you know, just kind of acclimating them.
You talk about how the biggest thing for freshmen and whether or not they can play is whether or not they can just deal with getting used to college. It seems like those guys would have more to get used to, but guys like Logan Todd have been able to make an impact pretty quickly. Are those guys kind of uniquely able to adapt in some way?
Well, if you just on the field, some guy, you just need to not be distracted. Once you're on the field, you can't be distracted by, you know, class schedule's different, you live in a different place, food's different where you get it, and all that, you know. So I think that, you know, some guys just adjust and expect to be successful on the field, even though they may have anxieties elsewhere, but I think Tagos has done a real good job adjusting. Took him a little while. Kyle Sweets adjusted, I think really well as a true freshman. So there's a couple others, I just can't think of them. But Darian Moulton would be one for sure. Goes out there and plays like he expects to be there and he belongs there. Some of it's just working through the hurdle of reconciling the fact that you belong there. I mean, Kyle Sweet's not surprised when he catches a ball. Logan Tago's not surprised when he tackles somebody or somebody can't block him. And then Darian Moulton's not surprised when he covers somebody or even picks one or bats it down. And I mean, that's part of it. It's just not being surprised, because if you weren't good enough to be here, we probably wouldn't have picked you anyway. So, but some guys, it takes a year and a half to work through that.
Questions on the line for Coach?
Hey Coach, it's Beth Lowe with the Seattle Times. When you first took over this program, what was your blueprint for success? Like, you look at what you've done at Tech. Did you say it'll take me X number of years to really replicate that here? And how far into the process do you think you are?
No, you just worked as hard as you can every day. You work as hard as you can every day, and the initial thing is just sort of your philosophy, expectations. Get those installed as quickly as you can, and you have to install them with everybody. And then, but you want to get them reinforced strongly so that it's understood that there's no changing or variance to it. And then after a couple of years, the older guys can reinforce it with younger guys, which duplicates your efforts and helps things accelerate a little better.
Would you say the program currently is where you wanted it to be 4 years into your tenure here, or up or down?
I've never felt anything to where you want to be. You always just keep pushing for better, I mean, this isn't a where you want it to be business, I mean, you can be undefeated, but you can still improve, so.
And I guess how significant, talking about older guys, how significant has this senior class been for you in the evolution of your program, given the fact that the redshirt seniors were here and bought into everything that you tried to do, and the true seniors are the guys from your first recruiting class who kind of took a flyer and came based on your vision for what the program could be?
You lost about half that sentence I didn't hear, but the something about the senior contributions, I think they've done a tremendous job. I mean, you've got guys that have really adapted and contributed to things, and done some good thing. I mean, there's no question. And I think that's kind of a more courageous, more independent effort to do it on the front end, because, there's not all the stuff in place to reinforce it, where, you just have to be committed to it to the point where you do it independently. And their courage in doing that, I think, has brought some young guys along, which is real important for our program.
Do you have something different to sell now when you talk to recruits than you did 3 or 4 years ago, do you think? Yeah,
this building. We got the best facility in the conference, and then and when it was first, after for the first year and a half or so, then they think it's just me bragging, it's not true, but that I'm just bragging. And then as we get more recruits through here and players through here, and they see it and they touch it, and then they hear it from people that have come up here and visited, and whether it's parents and players that have come this way, well then, the facts get a lot more credibility to it, and then there's an excitement to come up here and see it too, which I think it does help broaden the recruiting base. And I think that, the building and our facilities, our new facilities haven't really had a huge impact up to this point, other than just a vision and direction. But I think this year as people are kind of educated on the subject and know it's the case, I think it's definitely helped this year as the class starts to shape up.
Are you already sort of seeing the impact in recruiting, the fact that you guys are having success this year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think so. I kind of worry about the next play, but you know, the reception's been real positive, and of course, a lot of people are very excited, and we got some guys playing well where we can play better, but we're improving.
Okay, and finally, at which part of last season did you look at your defense and say, I need to make a change and I need to get myself a new defensive coordinator?
Yeah, just when there was we didn't have an identity defensively. We had a lack of commitment. You know, as far as you know, the message. You know, there was some ambivalence and apathy that I didn't appreciate, and then you know, some resistance to change and move from that. And I think that in order to be successful on defense, offense, or any side of the ball, it needs to be led with a clear message and a great deal of passion, and I didn't feel like we were measuring up to that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Anything else on the line?
Mike, Larry Stone from the Seattle Times here. Luke is starting to get increasing little Heisman buzz. Is that more of the noise that you want to avoid, or do you like to see him getting that kind of recognition?
Well, we're happy he gets that recognition because all awards are team awards, you know. I mean, because Luke's not even in that conversation without the contributions of offensive linemen, running backs, and receivers, and then also some stops on defense and some turnovers and things like that. So as a team, we're really excited about it, and we're thrilled about it on behalf of our team, and Luke is a representative of our team. And so, yeah, we're pleased with that. But then, and Luke recognizing that, I'm sure is planning to continue to elevate the efforts of those around him, you know, and so that our offense, you know, works with a high level of precision as we can improve at all of our positions.
In your mind, is he worthy of a Heisman vote?
Oh, there's no question. Well, no, I got out of that Heisman conversation because it's kind of a political. The whole thing's political. The entire thing's political. So anyway, yeah, there's no question. When you consider who's elevated their team the most, because you know, Heisman goes to the guy that elevates their team the most in the course of a season. I would like to see which guy's done that. And I think that also there's a split in how people think about the Heisman. You know, I mean, the thing that's ridiculous, I've always found ridiculous about the Heisman is, first of all, the Heisman's given away before the national championship game. And so as they hand it out, they try to speculate who's going to be the MVP for the national champion team. You know, all this business of who elevated their team the most, that's all gone out the window. And keep in mind, Paul Hornung wouldn't have his Heisman if the measuring stick was who's the best player on the national championship team, and nor would a bunch of others. So they've changed the way they gauge it. But now it's just a byproduct of trying to speculate who's the best player on the national championship team. Well, what my suggestion is go ahead and give the Heisman out right after the national championship. And then that way you'll know who the MVP of the national championship team is, and just hand it to him the same time you hand the national championship trophy out. And I think that would simplify everything. But, you know, failure to do that, then I think they ought to go back to the original definition, which is who's made the greatest contribution to his individual team. And if that's the case, virtually everybody needs to vote for Luke Falk, and anybody that doesn't needs to re-examine why they're voting for the Heisman to begin with. How's that? That was a good one, huh?
Thank you.
Coach, back to recruiting for a second. You've talked about you guys are a lot of freshmen and sophomores. Do you sell that point to incoming recruits that they have a chance if they work hard enough to start for a Division I team?
On who now?
When you're recruiting, are you able to sell that point of a lot of freshmen and sophomores?
Yeah, well, yeah, here in particular. Yeah, we've got a bunch of them. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a chance, you know. I mean, you go out there and you go to camp and you see who plays the best, and you know, if you're in the two deep, you're not going to redshirt, you're going to play, you know. And yeah, we've had a lot out of necessity, just sheer numbers. When I first got here, you weren't able to have a full offense or defense without playing freshmen that first year I was here. And then, but we got a bunch playing now, an alarming number.
Any other questions
Yeah,
in
it's
the room?
kind of scary, just looking at this thing here. I don't look at that very often.
Coach, you guys are favorites this week for the first time in a long time. Does that affect your guys at all, just knowing that they're not the underdogs this week?
It better not. I mean, you know, it's the underdog, overdog, and none of that's impacted a game. Nobody scored any points or gave up any points based on that. I mean, we need to just focus on what we do. We just worry about ourselves. So if it does, then then we're a weak-minded team and have even more work to do than I thought we did, and we got plenty of work to do.
Any other questions before the student? Go ahead, Lynn.
I'm not student. What is it? If you had to have a last meal, but it had to be fast food, like last meal in our fast food, what fast food restaurant would it be?
I'm not a fan of fast food. Fast food, like a chain?
Yeah. You don't like any fast food?
Oh, what I do like is not particularly good for you, and a lot of it I don't like. Let me think about this. Okay, I've never been a hamburger guy, and even as a kid, I've never been a big hamburger guy. So if I got a hamburger, it would be In-N-Out Burger, no question. In-N-Out Burger with the fries, not the special sauce, but ketchup instead, and Coke. And then, let me think. Does pizza count as fast food?
You can get Pizza Hut in the drive-thru now.
Well, I can't, you know, in some of it, it just sort of depends. Like the independent, you know, pizza places are a little better. If I did pizza, it would be, without being able to think of another one, probably Round Table Pizza. You know, the Mexican food places that are right next to car washes and stuff like that, those are the best. I mean, those are off the charts. And, or the trucks, like the trucks in the park. I used to play baseball during law school in those parks every Sunday, and those are off the charts. But I don't know if that counts as fast food since it's really not a chain. But the Mexican food at the trucks in the parks are off the charts. I mean, that's the best. And then, of course, you know, anybody that wants great Mexican food in this town needs to go to Chaparrito Taqueria. Fast food Mexican food, let me think about this. I mean, you know, and like everybody, because they're everywhere, and it is decent. Taco Bell, hit Taco Bell. Oh, it is if it's now. As far as fast food, Jimmy John's does that count?
I think that counts.
Yeah, I did Jimmy John's then. That would be, Jimmy John's would be the one then, as a result, you know, pretty good for you, good stuff, kind of more my style, yeah. The turkey, I get the,
Turkey Tom.
yeah, that's the one. See, that's what he gets. So, yeah, that's it.